I was talking about Bashar in Syria and how fucked up he is, and the the Hezbollah did not like that shit. Do 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 do. 8:30. Cool. What do you think is going on spiritually right now? Oh, Sarah did want to talk some shit. What do I think is going on spiritually right now? Nothing. I don't. Thoughts on QAnon? Do you think they're legit? Nope. Favorite firearms. My favorite firearms. I like the AK variants. I like Dragunovs, Dracos, just for shits and giggles. But it depends on what it is. Home defense, I like a 45 ACP Glock 21 with the laser beam, and shotguns for home defense. At the range, I shoot all kinds of shit. But I like long guns more than I like pistols. But I like Glock 17s. I think those are really, really good. So if you're going to get a pistol, Glock 17. That's solid. But yeah, I like long guns. Let you see what? My Glock. I keep my Glock with me at all times. Not at all times, but you know, whatever. Boot doo 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 doo. I like H&K. I got a bunch of H&Ks. I got like the what they call it. It's not the USP. It's the H&K. What's that thing called? ACP? It's something like 3 letters. It's like a 45. She said, oh, I feel protected. No, you shouldn't feel protected. You should feel afraid if you ever creep up in the crib unannounced. What's the H&K I got? The ASC is something. USC? I think it's a USC. H&K USC. And it's kind of built kind of like a MP5. In that same like submachine kind of compact configuration. But yeah, I got the USC. And I got the I got some pistol. The H&K. That's like a lemon squeeze. That's really cool. 9mm. Nah, yeah, not the USP. It's the USC. It's not the UMP. It's not the USP. It's the USC. H&K USC. Those are different. I got a SIG. I got a P220. I think it's a P220. 45. Furthest shot you've made, 1,300 yards. Semi versus fully auto. Give me a semi. Fully auto is like, what are you gonna do with that? Like, what is that for? And unless you got something that's like a lot of rounds, like it has to be like 200-300 rounds. You know, like what's the point? That's more for like suppression and like jackhammer and shit. But I'm cool. I don't see any situation where I would need a fully automatic anything. I think it's like the Glock 18 that's fully auto. Like I still want one of those. I think it's the Glock 18, right? The Glock 18C or something like that. That's fully auto. Why do I like guns? I grew up with guns. My father was in the military, so we learned how to shoot when we were like babies, like 3 years old, shooting big shit. So my father used to sell guns too. He had his dealer's license. He used to sell guns. So yeah, I just grew up with it. I've always liked them. I got my personal first gun when I was like, I think 11. It was like a 25 that didn't even work. Some bullshit. And then my dad gave me a 357. And I had all these, it was so cold because I had all these different kinds of rounds. Yo, it was so dope. Like I had like buckshot rounds. I think I had tracer rounds. Like, cause that 357 platform, like the amount of like different versions of ammunition that are built on that platform was just like all kinds of shit. So I had access to all kinds of shit, right? And it was just super versatile. But then he gave me, after that, I think he took 357 back, and then he gave me a his non. I can't even remember what kind of non it was. Was it a Beretta or Ruger? I think it might have been a Ruger. And then after that, I just bought my own. That's when I just bought all the shit that I liked. But yeah, so I've been around guns since I was a kid. What Lupe talking about today? Still on here making excuses about the Chinese. I'm not making excuses about the Chinese. I've never made excuses about the Chinese, right? I think it's super depressing what's happening in Guangzhou. Like, that's fucked up. And I actually reached out to a bunch of my counterparts to see like what the fuck is going on. But I think you see the African governments are doing what they're supposed to do, making their claims, condemning the shit, leveraging their diplomatic power and shit like that. So I think that's what you need to do. But it's fucked up. It's fucked up. But it's funny because it's like when you take a place like Guangzhou is like one city in China. There's like 60 cities in China. So it's almost like some shit happened in Atlanta. And niggas like, yo, they did what in Atlanta? What the fuck? Is fucked up. Or like some shit happening in the South. Even today, there's still goofy, wild shit that happens in the South. So I look at it the same way. Like you have one city doing some fucked up shit. And hopefully it gets reprimanded. You see all those Chinese tourists going ham once the ban was lifted. What you mean? Like buying a bunch of shit? Yeah, that's nothing new. So Africa just had all the locusts. They been had the locusts. That locust thing's been popping during this whole time. That was one of the issues where you had people were worried that you would have this locust infestation in certain parts of Africa, and then you would have COVID-19 on top of that. Yeah, the cities in China are huge. Wuhan is huge. Not all of them. There's tiers. There's like 3 tiers. Tier 1 cities, tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities. And I think it's based on like population. So there's like the average city in China might be like 1 million people. Right? But it's billions. It's 1.4 billion motherfuckers. And then you got certain cities which are like super concentrated. But you could, if you ever go from like, I took a train from, I think, Beijing out to Danfang, which basically from basically Beijing to Shaolin, and on that trip, you'll see like as you go from like station to station, you'd see like literally like a big ass city just out of nowhere. Then you'd leave out of that city. It'll be like farmland and shit. And then 10 minutes later, it's another big ass city. Then it'll go away. Then 10 minutes later, it'll be another big ass city. And it's just be these, you just see like, damn, like every 10 minutes you passing. Every 10 minutes you passing through what or going through what you could consider